Welcome back to the Community Action Podcast. My name is Jamie, and here with me today is Jesse and Kaylin. In previous podcasts, we talked about the Future Story Initiative and making changes. Now we're going to talk about a really cool tool you can use to help make those changes. So today, we're talking about goals. And when we think goals, we want to think SMART. And that SMART stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely.
Okay.
So what does that mean? SMART goals is a tool that you can use to plan and make your goals happen and realistic. So what kind of goals? Do you guys have any goals?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah? What kind of goals do you have?
Well, a while back, I had some health issues, and so I was not able to do the things that I used to do. I used to love to go out and hike and kayak and do all of that stuff. And because of my health, it slowly stopped. And I would love to be able to get fit again, to be able to actually have the stamina to go out and hike those back trails and to be able to go on my kayak for more than 20 minutes and that kind of stuff. So I think that would be a great goal for me.
Okay, get fit is a great goal, is a great thing, but that's not quite specific yet. So the first part of making a goal is we need to be a little bit specific. Right. So let's narrow it down a little bit more. How can you make that more specific?
Okay, so, okay. Here's something. So something that helped me with my stamina beforehand was I used to run. And it wasn't something that was like I loved running, but it was something that really helped support the things that I did love to do, which was hiking and kayaking and all that stuff. And it was not running indoors. I don't like stuff indoors, so I do it outside, like on trails to learn my balance, and it helps me with the stamina and all that stuff. So maybe that might be a more specific goal, is to just focus on one thing within the fitness realm that would help me with all the others.
Okay, so run,
yeah, not a marathon.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about this goal of running. How are you gonna start that? How are you gonna do that? We need to make this a little bit measurable, and so you could run, but how are we gonna be able to measure that?
Yeah, I think I'd probably have to start from ground zero again. Like, I haven't run for a while. So maybe make a goal of a specific distance that I think I could do.
Okay.
So let's say a mile.
A mile?
Without walking.
So we're going to be specific. We're going to run a mile, measure it without walking.
Yeah.
Okay. Now it needs to be attainable. So the next letter in SMART is A. That means attainable. How are we going to attain this?
Well, and I think it's all going back to that measurable stuff too, where I need to figure out how I'm going to do it. Like, how am I going to measure that I am succeeding, to see that if I can actually attain this. Back in the day when I was running, I had an app. It was kind of like a personal coach, right? So maybe if I downloaded another app that was like that helped me measure what I'm doing. So like the first week, it was telling me to run 2 minutes and walk 10 minutes or whatever it is. Okay. And then the next week it was a little bit more and a little bit more until I was running that mile. And I think for the attainable part is to see if, like I said, I've had these health issues. What I'm slightly worried about is, can I do it now? You know, is that going to actually be something that I could achieve? And I'm not sure about that. So I'm not sure how to go from that point. Like, how can I see if that's attainable for me?
Okay. So I think you just have to start out a little bit at a time, right? And you said start from square one and then work your way up to see if you can get to that mile. Now, just because you're starting a goal for 1 mile does not mean that you have to keep that goal that way the entire time. And so if there becomes a point where it is not attainable, you can always adjust it.
So I need to be flexible with...
Yep, you can.
Okay. So, and So if I can't feel like I can't do a mile, maybe I can move it to half a mile
Absolutely.
and change my timeline and be able to figure it out from there and
Mm-hmm.
see if that is. And maybe also I just have to be flexible enough. I know my overreaching goal is that I want to be fit enough to be able to do the things I used to do. Maybe I need to be flexible enough in thinking more creatively. If I can't do the running, what is something else that might help build my stamina, and I can work on that and build a different.
Yep. You don't have to commit to a goal 100%. In the past, we've talked about the cycle of change, and not every time you have a plan to do something are you going to finish it. And so you can definitely, change your plan or decide to start and stop it at another time.
Okay.
So we've got specific, we've got measurable, we've got attainable.
Okay.
You're going to run 1 mile without walking.
Right.
Using some apps and some things to help you along.
Right.
And then the next letter is going to be R, which is relevant. We need to make sure when we're developing a goal or a plan for ourselves that it's relevant to ourselves. Is running a mile relevant to you? There's oftentimes, you brought up having some medical issue. There's oftentimes people, maybe it's a medical provider or maybe it's a family member that makes suggestions or wants you to do things and have goals. But if that goal is developed from them and not you, then it's not going to be relevant to you. So is this relevant to you?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Because I know my dad wanted me to learn about cars. He thought it'd be very helpful for me so I could be independent. And no,
Wasn't for you?
And no, it was not for me. As much as it would be helpful for me to learn about cars and how to change oil and all that stuff, I'm like, eh. So trying to make a goal for that, I could see that would get put on the back burner time and time again because I would not want to do that. But yeah, for running, I think that is relevant for me because I have seen it help me in the past. So I know that it would be helpful again to be able to do the things that I want to do.
Right. It's your goal. You're making the goal.
Yeah.
Just as long as it's your goal and you're not doing it for somebody else,
Absolutely.
Not only that, but it's something that is relevant enough to you that you're going to stick with it and continue doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. You have a better chance of achieving something or a goal if it's relevant to you. So the final part of the SMART is the T, and that is going to be timely. And so when you're developing a goal, so you want to run a mile without walking and using your tools and it's relevant to you, we want to make sure that we have a timeline or a date that we're going to start and finish this. And this is helpful in the measuring. So one, if you have a start date, you have a time that you're going to start it. And then if you have an end date, you have a time that you're going to finish it. And so that's helpful in measuring. So let's throw some timely factors into your goal.
I can see how that would be really helpful because I am the queen of procrastination.
Procrastination comes into play here.
Oh, yes. Especially if it's something that I'm like a little trepidatious about. I'm like, well, I'll just start next week. So I can really see the benefit of having that start time and going, okay, I'm going to start this day, this time. Yeah. Okay. So how could I do that? Oh, well, the app, it has that, when I was talking about how it was measurable, it has this thing where you can run, couch to a mile in 2 months.
Okay.
But it had it running 3 times a week. And I know from my busyness and my schedule, that's not realistic for me.
Okay.
So I know I could probably do 2 times a week. And so for that time, for that start and that end date, I would need to plan on probably 3 months instead of 2 months.
Okay.
To achieve that.
All right.
But having that, and something else for me, and it's not for everyone, but I know that if I don't tell people that I'm planning on doing this and I keep it a secret, and I am the queen of procrastination, it's not going to happen. So if I know someone knows I'm supposed to be doing that, then there's that extra layer of accountability for me.
I'm glad you brought that up because at Community Action, as a coach or somebody that can connect with after classes or, in person, that there's an opportunity for us here to be a support system to our community. And so reach on out to us if you're looking for that support. I just want to go back to completing your goal.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us from start to finish with those timeline or that.
With my SMART goals.
Yes. So let's put it all together.
I don't know if I heard a timeline come through there.
I didn't. So I want to make sure that we have the entire SMART goal.
So I heard the app could
Do
help.
I have to
but not
announce
totally
a start
help.
time right now?
Yeah, well, I heard that the app could help, but not all the way. So kind of feel like, I didn't hear a start time and I didn't hear an end time.
We have your accountability partner over here.
Okay. All right. So start time tomorrow. I will start tomorrow. Procrastination is a crime.
What time
it
are you
only leads to sorrow.
What time are you starting tomorrow?
What time am I stopping? Okay.
Time are you starting tomorrow?
That's right. Not stopping.
Now, here's another thing, though.
Putting this off too much.
Here's another thing, though, that could happen when we're talking about what's relevant or not. We don't want to feel like we're pushing you into a timeline here.
Right.
You need to make the decision on your own. Like, what's going to work for you and what day is going to work for you. Mm-hmm. So I know you're saying tomorrow, but if tomorrow's not going to work for you, you know in the back of your mind that you're really not going to get to it tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't want you to tell us tomorrow.
That's right.
What's a realistic time that you could start?
This is your goal.
It's your
It's
goal.
my
here.
goal. It's something I want to do. So I need to take ownership of that. But probably not tomorrow.
Okay.
So maybe, so I like to start fresh. So maybe starting it at the beginning of a month, the beginning of a week, planning on that. So
Okay.
I'll start in January.
January. Ooh, you're going way out with this goal. We talk about July?
I'll start in July.
All right.
We'll re-say that. I'll start in July. And plan on, because I know that I have more time on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'll do Tuesdays and Thursdays starting the first week in July. So that would be 3 months out, July, August, September. So by November, I should have completed my goal.
Awesome. That sounds great.
And even if you don't,
I
you
can
know
adjust
that can always
it.
adjust it.
Yeah.
And who knows? You may get to August and you already have completed your goal.
Right. That is always an option. We're always talking about adjusting it because you can't, but maybe you found out that you can.
Maybe you were in a better place than you thought.
Maybe I was in a better place than I thought. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
So now that you have a timeline in your timeline, let's go back and start from beginning to end with your goal and use the entire SMART format.
So S, be specific. So I'm going to run 1 mile without walking. Measurable, I'm going to use the apps for myself so I can track my progress. And attainable, I'm going to be flexible if I can't do what I had originally planned. So if I need to change it to a half a mile, I'm going to change it to a half a mile. If I need to extend the timeline or shorten the timeline, I will do that. And I can't spell smart.
Relevant.
S-M-A. Relevance.
Relevant.
It's relevant
relevant
to
to
me.
you.
Because I have seen it help me in the past with the things that I want to do outdoors. And timely, I'm doing it starting next month, and it's going to be for 3 months.
So next month,
2 times a week.
on a Tuesday and
And
a
a Thursday.
Thursday, you're going to begin running to achieve 1 mile by using your apps and trackers by the end of 3 months.
By the end of 3 months, I should have reached that 1 mile goal.
Yes, that's great. That's a great SMART goal. We just ran through an example of a SMART goal. Sometimes I think we make goals out to be bigger or grander than they really have to be. And so if you're interested in learning more about SMART goals or having some support in creating them, reach out to us here at Community Action. We have an 800 number or a website that you can contact us through. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us today. Community Action Partnership is a nonprofit organization. All the services we provide are free of charge to income qualifying community members. What we talked about today is just a bit of what we cover in our coaching and workshops. For more information, you can check out our website at cap4action.org. That's CAP, the number 4, action.org. You could also just give us a call at 1-800-326-4843 or come visit one of our locations. We would like to thank our sponsor, Optum Idaho, for making this series possible.